How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Hi. I'm a little punchy.
A little punchy today.
My brain is cotton candy. It's a lot of stuff going on. Hi, everybody. Welcome to How About That Cigar Live, episode number 104.
104.
It is our favorite night of the week. It's Monday. I am sorry, guys. I am lit up. I'm just exhausted. A lot of work hours. So it's fine. It's all good. We're excited to be here with you on episode 104, even though I may not sound like it. I am getting unwound and I'll be just fine. So thank you guys so much for joining us on episode 104. As always, live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios, and let's talk about the brand new, beautiful packaging designs for the Undercrown line. The new 25-count design is more compact and shelf-friendly, enabling premium cigar retailers more shelf space inside their humidors. These new boxes will roll out for all Undercrown lines, including Undercrown Shade, Undercrown Sungrown, and the original Undercrown Maduro. A decade ago, the staff at the Drew Estate factory realized they had to reduce their consumption of Liga Privada No. 9 cigars in order to keep up with consumer demand. These hardworking men and women in Esteli then created their own signature cigar to enjoy. Constructed with many of the same rare tobaccos found in Liga Privada, the grassroots Undercrown brand debuted, followed by Undercrown Shade, and then the Undercrown Sungrown. For more info, please visit drewestate.com. Welcome to episode number 104, live from the Drew Estate Cigar Studios. So if you guys were fortunate, do you guys hear the clicking? The clicking? Yes, Mark, it's live. Hi.
I cannot.
Garrett's having trouble with his lighter. I'll try that one.
Okay, I'll try this one.
So if you guys were fortunate enough to join us live on Saturday, we had a special Saturday broadcast.
Did we?
And
oh yeah, that's right, we did.
And we were absolutely incredibly fortunate to have the man himself, Mr. Carlito Fuente, was live with us for just shy of 3 hours. It was just a fantastic afternoon. We got to spend listening to him tell stories about his family and and the legacy that they have in the cigar industry. It was honestly just one of the biggest treats, honestly, of my life.
And to just tell you guys how much it meant to us after we went off and had a few minutes with Carlito in the green room. Afterwards, we sign off. Matt and I sat here in silence for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything to each other. We just took in everything that just happened in the last 3 hours.
Yeah.
And it was just incredible. It was a great thing for HBTC, a great thing for, I think, for cigars, for even people I know that don't get into cigars, watched at least part of the show.
Yep.
And really enjoyed it, because Carlito is just a fantastic storyteller. Did I break it?
Broke my lighter. No, it's good.
So yeah, that was fantastic. And if you read the show headline, you will see that Matt and I have each given each other a couple unbanded cigars. We don't know what we gave each other. And the cigar that Matt gave me, I'll give a little.
So it's
toothy.
Yep. So, and Garrett, the one that Garrett gave to me, well, we gave each other a couple. The first one I'm lighting up here. Let me get a little fire on this and get it going. Starting off very nice. So yeah, this is like a short Robusto, maybe I'm gonna say 4.5 by 52.
Correct.
Connecticut shade wrapper.
Correct.
The cold draw was really nice and clean and kind of grassy. And the first puff was really kind of had a lot of that natural Connecticut shade sweetness, and bright kind of mild flavors. It's starting off very well.
And this is so I thought it was going to be a bit of a spice bomb, but it's actually quite smooth. It tastes old, so it tastes aged, and not much more to report.
As always, for our viewers, we are so grateful you guys are watching. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, thanks so much for listening to us. Let us know in the comments. Let's have some conversations tonight. Let us know what you guys are smoking and drinking along with us. In addition to my unbanded cigar that I just fired up, that I'm enjoying, I have a little bit of my favorite Old Forester 100 in a glass here.
Hey, and if you guys did watch that Carlito interview, let us know what your favorite part was, or something that you remember from that interview that really stood out. We want part of the show too to be give us criticism, things that you liked, maybe didn't like.
Yell at us, call us names.
Yeah,
we kind of like it a little bit. I won't go into all the details, but
like a lot.
Yeah. So for episode 104, coming off of just this enormous high and the gratitude of having Carlito on the show, we thought, because we couldn't land on scheduling a guest, something about this particular Monday night, we just couldn't get anybody lined up. But we thought, okay, we've done this before. Garrett and I are going to swap some unbanded cigars, fire those up, talk a little bit about some of the things going on in the cigar world today. And also, like we said, because Saturday was such a huge interview and a long show, like a 3-hour show. Plus it was sort of last minute because we actually were supposed to have Jeremiah Mirafel to talk about the family's wonderful Cameroon tobacco, and he was unable at the last minute. He was unable to be on the show, and Carlito was beyond gracious to step in. Thank you also to the professor Jose for helping us get that all lined up. But a lot of last minute prep. Garrett and I basically spent Friday night late, each doing show prep and getting questions prepped and things like that, because one of the things we want to do when we talk about these stories and we get to know these people from the industry is and we've talked about this before too, there are a lot of great cigar shows out there.
Yes.
And other people have been fortunate to also talk to Carlito, and we thought we just don't want to ask the same questions, not because the questions the other people asked weren't great. We just don't want Carlito to have to tell the same story. We want to give him something new to kind of expand on a little bit.
One of my goals is to always have our guests say, I've never been asked that before.
Yep.
And it was incredible that we got at least 3 of those from Carlito. So I consider that a big win. And
it was also really cool that we had family in the comments.
My gosh, Cynthia,
we had Cynthia and we had Liana in the comments.
Jose was watching.
Jose was in the comments, and it was just great. It was almost like, even though these aren't people that we sit down with on a regular basis, it really just felt like sort of like a family Zoom call.
It really did.
Honestly, it was a lot of fun. And Bear Duplessis left one of the comments saying that he could listen to Carlito all day, and I 100% agree. It's not just the actual stories that he tells, it's the way that he tells them.
Yeah,
because he really is filled with emotion.
And there are interviews that we've done where we've had some talkers, and Carlito is certainly one of those. However, he does it in a way that is just so eloquent. The history, the passion in which he speaks from is incredible. You could say, Carlito, tell me about toothbrushes.
Yeah.
Oh, in 1973, I was in, and just go. And he would just take us on a little trip to wherever this memory brought him, and it was a fantastic ride.
Yeah. And for some sort of quick hit current events, going on out there in the world. I saw online today there's a job opening for a shipping container boat captain. You must be comfortable in tight spaces. Please apply at austinpowers.gif.net.
Oh yeah.
That was if you haven't seen that gif of Austin Powers, it's stuck in the hallway backing up, and it where they pasted a picture of the shipping that ship on the side of it's just fantastic.
That is a perfect
and
gift.
Apparently that situation's not going away anytime soon. Apparently they
got it free.
They did, but there's still, it's like when a traffic jam, when the car crash finally clears on the freeway.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It takes a while to get things
all the stuff.
And it's if you saw the backup of all the dots of the ships waiting, it's going to take some time to get that through there.
When I love the image of the ship, stuck right into the bank, and then you don't understand the massive beast that thing is until you see what is actually a huge backhoe come up, and it's like, I'll give you a little, maybe not.
And it looks like it's like, compare it like to an ant, like an ant trying to push a Jeep off of a curb that's stuck.
It really is.
So,
that's fun.
But yeah, go back and watch episode 103. Listen to episode 103 with Carlito. We had an absolute blast, as we do with all our guests. But no disrespect to our other guests, but give me a break. It's Carlito Fuente. So it was
the
great.
Godfather of smoke,
and we're excited to hopefully be able to talk to him again. And kind of one of the things that we want to talk about tonight is, in addition to, we'll check in on how our unbanded cigars are smoking, but we want to check in also on some stuff that we actually have coming up for How About That Cigar. And we did go back and forth on this a few times. So as you guys know, we had Scott Pierce and Josh Habersky from the PCA on a couple of weeks ago. Had a great conversation with those guys, and we were very open about talking about How About That Cigar's role as cigar media in the world of premium cigars. And we were open and honest with questions about the money that media organizations pay for membership, just like retailers pay a membership fee, manufacturers pay a membership fee. Anybody who's going to be a member of the PCA pays membership fees. And, we talked about us being a small, newer media company, whether or not we were going to actually be able to afford that. And what it gets you is the money goes directly towards, the regulatory fight. And it also gets entry into the PCA trade show, formerly known as the IPCPR. So we would get entry into that trade show, and we'd be able to cover it and go around and interview people and things like that. That is still not off the table. We are still not it. We still may very well go online and renew our PCA membership, which we have been in good standing the past couple of years. It is not too late for us to renew. And that could very well happen, because we really do want to cover the PCA trade show, because it is still the number one premium cigar trade show in the world. But there is a new player in town for the last couple of years making a little bit of noise in the premium cigar world. And it's a trade show that's not dedicated just to premium cigars. It's the Tobacco Plus Expo. And it covers pretty much everything smokable, as far as I know. It covers premium cigars, I believe cigarettes, vape, CBD, cannabis. I think cannabis. Does it cover cannabis? If you guys know if it covers cannabis, let me know.
If it covers cannabis.
Honestly, we're new to it.
Pipe tobacco,
vape, hookah, things like that.
Goat droppings.
Yeah, which is a really
super niche market, but
super niche market, but it's up and coming.
Yeah.
No, so we actually were not planning on going to the TPE trade show. It was not something that was on our radar. It was, it just seemed to be too early in the COVID cycle. But very recently, well, not even very recently, all the research we're doing points to the fact that the COVID situation is looking a lot better, a lot more attractive to go out into the world and do things.
And that was the big, that was one of the big risks for us too, as a media company, small media company, paying a big chunk of our annual, revenue to go to a trade show that may or may not happen. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But now that is becoming less and less of a risk as more and more shows and things are opening up. And
yeah.
I understand TPE is like the first big show that they're opening at the Sands.
Actually, it's at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
That's what I meant to say.
Yes, but you are right that trade shows are just starting to trickle in, and the TPE trade show has made some pretty good noise in the premium cigar world. It really wasn't known as a premium cigar show, but they've made some pretty good noise the past couple of years. And this year, when things started over the past few weeks, started calming down with COVID, and also full disclosure, the TPE makes it very easy for media to attend the show. I won't go into details about it, but they make it extremely easy for media organizations to go and cover the premium cigar companies at the trade show, which we're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
So we weighed the we weighed the whisk and rewards. I went full Elmer Fudd there.
You totally did.
That was beautiful. So we weighed the risks and rewards. And so here's the risks. The risk of going is we put ourselves at a higher risk of COVID, but Garrett and I have both already been through it and come out the other side, healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The other risk is it's going to be lesser attended than it has been in previous years because it's COVID and a lot of people are still choosing to stay home. We totally respect that. So that's another risk. The other risk is there are going to be more restrictions on the trade show floor, on all trade show floors, than there have been in previous years. So the word I'm getting is we will be able to smoke there in the trade show, but you won't be able to go from one booth to the next booth with a lit cigar. You have to put on your mask and then go. So basically, you go to a booth. If they offer you a cigar, you graciously accept it, you smoke it, you talk, and then when you're done, you put on your mask and go to the next booth. Whether or not that's the case, I still have to talk to the people at TPE and get clarification on that. Also still have to, we don't know how the people who work the venue, the security people and the showrunners, how they're going to enforce said regulations. We just don't know.
Mm-mm.
We'll know when we get there.
Mm-hmm.
But the risks on the other side, here's the risks of not attending, is there's such a low risk to going because it doesn't cost, how about that cigar, very much to attend the trade show, the TPE trade show. So that's a low risk. And also, being a young, smaller media company, we have to do as much as we possibly can to build the relationships in the business. And that means FaceTime. That means being in the same room. I mean, reaching out to people and getting interviews on the show, that's all wonderful. But there's something different and more effective about being in the same room and building those relationships face to face. So we take on more risk if we decide not to go. So we said the risk reward was higher. The reward spectrum was higher for us to say we're going to go. So we're going. And we're very excited to cover the trade show. We're excited to interview as many people as we possibly can and get to know about if people are going to release new product or announce new product at the TPE. We'll talk to them about that, talk to them about core lines, just talk to them about anything. Just to, again, this is a platform to help these companies get their stories out there. And if we can help them to tell those stories in sort of a shorter trade show interview format at TPE, we're going to do it. And taking that into account, it is entirely possible that we will also then in mid-July cover the PCA trade show. Mm-hmm. So this will be a good sort of litmus test to see if we're even, honestly, we might not be ready for it. We might come out of the TPE going, okay, we got to get our poop in a group. And, but we're taking a lot of steps before TPE to make sure we're ready to do it right. I ordered some audio equipment and stuff that we can bring with us and make sure the experience is good for you guys, because as viewers, we want you guys to get the stories about these, if there's new releases, to, see the interviews and see the trade show and all that stuff. And we want to cover it properly for you guys so that you can actually see and hear everything without this garbled audio where you're completely drowned out by background noise and, a video signal that looks like, a 1990s QuickTime video. So
wow, QuickTime,
yes. I dove into the the Wayback Machine for that.
You went to the card catalog.
I did, and I'm just reminded too that obviously we don't have a special guest on the show tonight, but we do have a show sponsor who we love very much and want to make sure that even though we don't have a special guest segment, our main segment of the show every week is brought to you by our friends at Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. You'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, President and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz, believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more info, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com.
Another milestone that will take place during the TPE is it'll be the first time that I'm going to fly.
Yeah. We talked about that for a while. It was actually a couple of years ago. In 2019, not long after How About That Cigar launched, that we started talking about the trade show, and Garrett starts talking about driving there. And I said, why? What? No, why? We're not going to drive to Vegas from Minnesota in July. And he's like, well, I don't fly.
So here's the story about that. It's not some crazy, I shouldn't say crazy because people have legitimate fears of things. For me, it's not an actual fear of flying. I know that they're far safer than vehicles, but I have vertigo. And I have a version of vertigo that is untreatable, that medications and I don't have the kind with crystals in my ear, so the manipulation stuff doesn't work for me. I've actually have at the where your optic nerve feeds into the back of your brain that takes the signals from your inner ear and they all coordinate. A part of that is damaged and or just doesn't work correctly. So people with my kind of vertigo can have difficult flying. That's been my big issue of flying, and I've just so
and you don't it's so bad for you that you can't even really get on an elevator.
So high speed elevators is where it happens. I can take slow elevators for if it's an old building with slow elevators, I'm fine. if it's a newer building, and they typically have those banks that will take you from, floor, 15 to 25 or whatever. If I get on one of those high speed elevators, it's actually a little funny for everybody else in the elevator because I immediately drop down to my feet or to my knees. Like my knees just buckle. They just buckle. And it's, yeah.
Mark says alcohol, but that's not going to work for Garrett because Garrett's sober. So
yeah, sober 26 years. So the plan is to go and get some happy pills from my doctor. And not try and overthink it because anxiety can exacerbate vertigo.
Yeah.
But I'm 43 years old. I've got to try it because not everybody with my condition has an issue with flying.
Yeah.
So it's not a guarantee one way or another. And the other thing is, even if I do have an episode, it only lasts for a few hours at most. It does suck. If you've ever had,
and it's only a 3-hour flight.
So, we're not talking jet lag and stuff that can. So the really long international flights more than likely will affect me one way or another more than the average person. Just for fun to on a trampoline. If I jump on a trampoline.
I'm trying to picture you on a trampoline.
Oh, it's fun.
Cracks me up.
I feel like I'm on the trampoline for the next 2 hours.
Oh,
the ground.
Like roller skates. Remember back in the day? Did you roller skate back in the day?
Same reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
same reason. So if I'm out on a boat all day.
I'm on a boat. Sorry.
I'm on a
boat.
To
throw that out there.
I feel like I'm on a boat for several hours after I get off.
I can't get that to focus. For those of you listening on the podcast, I can't get this. There. So this, just checking in on the cigars, that the unbanded cigars we're smoking. This is the short Robusto that I'm smoking that Garrett gave to me. And as you can see, it's burning pretty much perfectly. I'm not going to get cocky. I'm going to go ahead and knock the ash off now before it falls all over my shirt.
I genuinely have no idea what this is, but it is tasty. And I'm having a hard time not smoking it really fast.
Yeah, those smoke fast.
I just want to destroy this.
This is also very good. The short Robusto is very good. It's very mild, but there's good flavor behind the mildness. Definitely, I mean, it's got a lot of those classic Connecticut shade things that you get, but I am getting a little bit of, a little bit of pepper in there too. Mm-hmm. I'm sensing some Nicaraguan tobacco in there, maybe with it, with a little bit of spice. I don't really get any strength from it, but I get a little bit of spice, a little bit of kick from that, and it's again, it's burning beautifully.
And you guys, this is a fun thing to do. Just between people smoking, give somebody an unbanded cigar. I was just talking to a friend actually right before the show who said he likes to do this with Gurkha because it is trendy. I feel like for a lot of people to hate on a certain cigar company, no matter what it is, if it's that company or others, it's fun to give people a cigar that you think they hate.
Yeah.
And just watch them like, oh, this is really good. This is a good cigar. Oh, yeah. Well, suck on this.
It's happened to me before.
Oh, me too.
It's happened.
I thought a Cinco 5 Vegas.
Oh, yeah. 5
Vegas
Connecticut. You thought it was a Cuban.
I thought it was a Cuban.
Well, so you remember last year, we did the show with the guys from Blind Man's Puff, and they sent us some cigars, and we sent them some cigars.
Yep.
And the first cigar, I was so embarrassed after this.
I know.
So the first cigar in the pack that Garrett and I lit up. The funny part is we're sitting there talking to Emmett and Zane from Blind Man's Puff, and smoking this first cigar, and the so-called flavor notes and everybody gets them differently, really, but there are a lot of similarities that you hear across the board with with sort of characteristics that people talk about when they talk about a Cuban cigar. They'll say things like floral, grassy, sometimes like some sourness, and things sort of herbal kind of things going on in a lot of Cuban cigars.
And you nailed it.
And I named all those. I was, and in my head I'm going, this is a Cuban. It's a Cuban. But I psyched myself out like, no, they're not going to send us Cubans because they know we really don't smoke a lot of Cubans on the show. We don't review Cubans, anything like that. So I psyched myself out, and I actually said that it was a JSK Tyrannical Buck Connecticut.
Yep.
And Emmett said, no, it's a
Siglo.
Yeah, it's a Cohiba Siglo 1.
Yeah.
I just sunk my head in shame.
Yeah.
So, that's just goes to show you that we are still learning right along with you guys, trying to figure out how to taste things properly and smell things properly and learn about what different types of, because different tobaccos.
Yeah.
If you smoke them enough, you'll learn, oh, that's Connecticut broadleaf, or that's San Andreas.
Yep.
Definitely.
And the fun part about smoking an unbanned cigar, it truly removes so much bias, positive and negative.
Yep. That's one of the things we love about Blind Man's Puff.
Oh, absolutely.
Is they do all the blind reviews with 4 or 5 different people smoking them, and they compile the scores and everything. And people, and I was with them for a long time. You just don't know what you're smoking. And there were some cigars that I reviewed on Blind Man's Puff during the time I was with them that were expensive cigars, really expensive cigars that I gave really poor scores to. And then there were vice versa. There was the opposite end of that spectrum too. So it's just a lot of fun to maybe not for training your palate, but just for like Garrett said, taking the bias out of it.
Yep.
And just experiencing what you taste and smell. That's it. Just what you taste and smell and see, obviously. But this little guy is very good. It's got nice flavor to it. The more I smoke it, actually, it is kind of bumping up a little bit in maybe that's part of that is the bourbon, but I'm definitely getting a little bit of that sort of sense of Ligero.
Yeah, and same the strength, and I wouldn't call it spicy, but there's a little bite that happens on this that, gosh, I'm digging.
Yeah,
I can't wait to find out what this is. And
I can't guarantee it, but I'm fairly certain you've smoked that cigar before. That particular facing that you've smoked it before. I'm fairly certain. But maybe not that Vitola.
Sure.
So
when I'm likewise, I would go likewise. If you're on that cigar.
Yummy. I dig it.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the trade show discussion, part of this also is for our friends out there who are in the industry. If you're a brand owner, if you are a brand manager, if you're a brand ambassador for one of the cigar companies, we're going to be sending out a lot of emails coming up here soon, finding out who else is going to be at the trade show and finding out who we can schedule some time to stop by and see. And we would love to get to know as many of you as possible when you're at the trade show. And part of that is, and if you guys want to email Garrett or myself right on the website, the link's right on our website. You can email us and say, hey, yeah, we're also going to be a TPE and booth number, whatever, and let us know. And we'll reach back out to you and schedule a time during the days of the trade show to stop by and see what you've got and do an interview and learn about your products. Now this is another big thing about the trade show. There's also the Intertobac trade show, which is the international tobacco trade show, which takes place every year, typically in Dortmund, Germany. And last year's was canceled because of COVID. And it was very recently announced that the one for 2021 will also be canceled. So that's a big hit for the international premium cigar market, because the international market is different. If a lot of the brand owners who are from the United States, or a lot of the brand owners who are from places like Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Honduras, without the trade show, that one-stop shop where all the people are there, then you've got to rely on Zoom and phone calls, and even maybe multiple flights to and from Spain, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, just to get in touch with retailers and get the FaceTime to get to know them. So I think the international trade show being gone twice in a row, 2 years in a row, I think that might be a big hit to the international premium cigar
especially
market.
in Europe.
Yeah. It's the restrictions are still pretty heavy in Europe, and I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. So people are going to be kind of left to Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
And if you're in sales, that it's just different. It's different making sales over a video call. There's something about being in the same room.
Well, and cigar culture is such a personal culture too.
Yeah.
That, obviously you can make a sale over a phone call, email, all of that, but the relationships are what make this industry and this culture so special. That's unlike any other industry. So I think you're right. It is going to be a big hit, and yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And one of the other things that we want, really, this is kind of a request that we're sending out there to our viewers and our listeners. If you're watching live right now, and even if you're watching later on the rebroadcast, or if you're listening on the audio podcast, we want to know what you people want to see. We want to know which companies you want us to interview, which booths do you want us to stop by, what information, what questions, honestly, throw questions at us, for us to pose to different companies. We may use those questions. We want to, that's the reason we want to go to this trade show. We want to go to TPE. We also would love to go to PCA to give you guys the information that you want. We don't want to just, put together the info that we want you to see. We want you to tell us what you would like to see, because that's really why we do it. So
maybe there's some obscure cigar company that is going to be there, or some accessory or new cool thing. Yeah. That we haven't, because we don't hear about everything. We obviously have our fingers on the pulse of culture pretty good, but you can't know everything. Yeah. In this industry, and we don't pretend to. So absolutely, if they're,
unless you're half wheel. I shit you not. Those guys know everything. Yeah. Everything. Charlie. And hats off to them. Yeah. Because I just don't think, because they work their asses off at it.
They do.
So
that's their full-time job.
But
for most of them.
But yeah, we can't possibly, Garrett and I each have our own families. We have our own full-time day jobs. This is a hobby. And, we do make a little bit of ad revenue, but the ad revenue goes directly back into making sure How About That Cigar stays on the air. That's pretty much it. That's, and that's what it's all about. Someday we may make more, but that's not the goal right now. The goal is to get better at How About That Cigar every day.
Yep.
And make How About That Cigar better, to give you guys better information, more fun, more entertainment. And
we need that feedback.
Yeah, we need that feedback. So let us know what companies you want to hear from. If there's, like Garrett said, if there's some cool new lighter that you saw on TikTok or something, tell us about it. We'll see if we can find that company at the trade show and get the lowdown on what they have.
Or if you saw a really cool QuickTime Vine.
A QuickTime Vine. I think you just mixed metaphors.
Yeah, and then,
or mixed generations, actually.
And then somebody tweeted a Facebook.
Somebody tweeted a Facebook about the About this other guy's MySpace
Yes. We want to do that.
and Friendster.
Wow.
I was never on Friendster.
I wasn't either.
I was on. So I did create a MySpace page many years after basically like 2 years before MySpace completely went under. I created a MySpace page. I spent 3 minutes just putting my name and a silly picture of myself. And, I like cheese or what and that was, I never logged into it again. I never looked at it.
What was that school one that kind of started?
School one.
Yeah, that you could like connect with your old schoolmates.
I always thought that was just Facebook.
No, so before
I didn't know
Facebook,
there was another one.
It was this. Somebody will know it. Please put it in the comments. There was this. It was like class, something class, where you could sign up. And
Thank you, Eric.
dope.
I appreciate that. I'll have to. I don't think I ever had an AOL account.
Oh, really?
No.
Mine was Biblio Chico. That was my AIM name, and it was also my MSN name for a while. And then I got Yahoo Messenger, and I was Top Gunner Maverick.
Oh, that's so cheesy. Top Gunner Maverick. Did you have the picture? Did you have the picture of them in the plane?
No.
And the music, Danger Zone?
No, I had, some duck-lipped picture because
with the backwards peace sign and the hat off to the side, going like that.
Gold chain. ICQ.
Yes, ICQ. I had that.
Yep.
But early on, it was Buena Vista.
Oh, Buena Vista.
So if you're old like me, then Buena Vista was. This is pre-Google. This is late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I did ICQ, and it was all command line. It was on my Linux box.
And CompuServe.
Oh,
CompuServe. Yeah, that was.
Well, and GopherNet. So if you want to go into history of IT and Google and everything, actually Google used the University of Minnesota's search engine algorithm. They bought that from the U of M, and that was called GopherNet.
Yep.
And that's what we used, here in Minnesota, if you were a student at the U or whatever, to find anything. First, I think it started with finding your books, and then it just expanded from there. But
Yeah.
GopherNet was the OG Google.
Yeah.
Started at the U of M.
I remember.
Go Gophers.
I don't remember the year. It would have been early 90s. When I was so excited to get a 14.4 modem. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I was over the moon. And so for those of you who weren't around during that period of time, a 14.4 modem is the equivalent of downloading one MP3 song, a 3.5 minute long MP3 song in low quality audio.
Right, like 4-bit.
Yeah, and you would be able to download that song. I was so excited because I could download that song in less than a half an hour.
Yep, one song.
Yeah, one song. And I was just over the moon when I got that 14.4 modem. I thought it's never ever going to get better than this.
Oh, and when we went, and then when I went to Augsburg, they had a T1. And I remember being able to download an entire album in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Amazing.
And now we can stream everything, but you could literally download an entire box set in less than 30 seconds.
Yeah. And now everything is voice controlled, and, I can look at the cameras on my house at any given time, and if somebody rings my doorbell, or if and there's even microphones in the house that hear glass breaking. This morning. So I woke up and I started getting the kids ready to go to school, and my wife had already been up, and I saw a notification on my phone that said that the microphone in the kitchen heard the sound of glass breaking, and it'll also alert you if it hears a smoke alarm, things like that. And it said it heard the sound of glass breaking, and there's a little recording on my phone of the sound. So I listened to it. It didn't sound anything like glass breaking, but I could not for the life of me figure out what the hell the sound was. And it turns out it was my wife making her breakfast smoothie. It was the blender. And the stupid Google thought that it was glass breaking. And how did we get on this conversation?
Social media. Old social media and AOL.
Yeah. Well, and Cigar. So going back to the early days of the internet and the World Wide Web, when it comes to people learning about premium cigars, there are still people who don't realize. He talks about it a few times. There are still people that don't realize that Steve Saka was one of the first people. He was one of the first cigar bloggers out there. Skip Martin also had a very early cigar blog. And the early days, Carlito even talked about the early days of the Fuente family discussion board. That was maybe it might have been the first online cigar discussion board. I could be wrong about that, but if it wasn't the first, it was one of the very earliest. So, I mean, all the stuff we have now with being able to stream this show live on Facebook and YouTube and Twitch simultaneously. And Twitch is new to us. We just started streaming on Twitch, and we're still learning about the platform. It's very different. It's we're just learning about it, like I said. So if you're watching on Twitch, thank you. And we actually did have a comment, a live comment on the show that Carlito
from Twitch.
Really? One of the live comments on the Carlito show on Saturday was from Twitch. Classmates. Thank you.
Classmates.com.
Classmates. So I think we need to check in and do a final check-in and about these unbanded cigars we're smoking, and maybe throw out some guesses. So this Connecticut shade wrapped cigar, short Robusto, 4.5 by 52 ish. I'm pretty sure it's 4.5 by 52. Mm-hmm. So at first I was thinking that it might have been so I thought about a couple of short cigars like this. I thought about cigars. First, I'd just go to the Vitola, this particular size of cigar, and I start going through the Rolodex in my head, and I think, okay, what cigars are Connecticut shade wrap in or around this size? And I think, okay, there's the Illusione Rothschild's Connecticut. Mm-hmm. There's the AJ Fernandez Last Call, mm-hmm. Connecticut. There's the Roma Craft Intemperance, mm-hmm. EC. Mm-hmm. There is the JSK Tyrannical Buck, Connecticut. I don't even know what the name of the Vitola is, but roughly this size. There's I think there's a short version like this of the AJ New World Connecticut. I think, I could be wrong. And there's a few. Oh, there's the Gran Habano makes mm-hmm. Connecticut Deluxe, I think maybe it's called, in a like a Rothschild size, sure. Like this.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's others, Connecticut shade wrap cigars in this size range, but I do like this one a lot, and the more I puff on it, the more I get some of that, a little bit of that Ligero. You can even see a little bit of it, where the cut is on the head of the cigar.
I love that.
If I had to guess, I would say that this is the Tyrannical Buck, Connecticut.
Wow.
So that's
Okay.
That's my guess, and I'm sticking to it.
If this were box pressed, I would say that this is this would be a Padron. It's not box pressed.
Not box press.
So, like you, I went through my catalog in my head of all the cigars that, and there are a plethora.
Oh, would you say I have a plethora?
Yes, Jefe. I would say you have a plethora of guns. If you know that movie, put it in the comments.
Yes, please tell me somebody out there knows that movie.
I almost want to say it's tabernacle-ish, but again, I don't know of it in this size in the tabernacle. It is gosh, it is so toothy, and I'm trying to think of all the cigars that are this toothy. So obviously Padron and the Tabernacle, some Padillas can be this toothy. I think you're going to stump me on this one, to be honest.
If you had to name a country.
San Andreas.
So you're thinking San Andreas wrapper?
Yes and no. By the looks, yes. By the flavor, no.
If you had to name the country where the factory is.
Nicaragua.
Okay.
No. I'm changing my tune on that. I'm going to the Dominican.
Okay. Yes, Javier. If I'm saying
Javier.
Yes, Javier. Three Amigos. Backwoods, Andrew.
Yes. Nailed it. Backwoods are rather toothy.
I totally gave him a backwoods. Totally.
They are very toothy. So if I'm then in the Dominican, where they get this much tooth out of their cigars.
Let me pull up my phone here so I can pull up the info about the cigar without you seeing on the computer screen here.
Gosh, I still want to go to Padron. And but it's not a Padron.
It is not a Padron.
Okay. I agree, Andrew. It is too light.
All right, so let's look at the stats. So I think all right, so since I guessed mine first, go ahead and tell me how far off the mark I was.
Pretty far.
Pretty far, okay. I know what it is. Hold on. Let me take a few puffs here.
I'm gonna get your stats.
I know what it is. I psyched myself out again. I know what it is. I'm 99% sure I know what this is. That is not the JSK Tyrannical Buck, Connecticut.
No, but that is a huge compliment to Risty.
I know what it is.
What is it?
Atabay.
It is an Atabay.
Yeah. See, I psyched myself out again. And I named the JSK again. But yeah. I got it right in the end. I got it right. So
in anything that I said, have I been remotely close?
Yes, but you psyched yourself out.
Damn it.
So it is made in Nicaragua.
Okay. Is it San Andreas?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So you said, what was the first descriptor you said about what the wrapper looks like?
Old, toothy.
Toothy. And what wrapper leaf?
Jalapa.
No. What dark wrapper leaf is typically very toothy?
I'm embarrassing myself. Corojo?
Broadleaf.
Broadleaf. Yeah, broadleaf. Gosh, damn it.
So there are some things about this cigar you're smoking right now that are going to throw you off because it's a 2013 box. So they're old.
Is it an AJ product?
No. It is the My Father La Dueña
Oh, wow.
Petit Lancero. And so, and
oh my gosh. And
if you guys can see on the camera here, that's the cellophane from a 2013 My Father La Dueña Petit Lancero. Yeah, the La Dueña Petit Lancero number 7.
And that is your
Atabay. So there,
Atabay.
and you can see the darkness on that that band even. Yep. So there's the Atabay.
I was not gonna get there. Good job. Good job.
I sort of redeemed myself a little. All right, so
all right, let's go to
cigar number 2. Now this one also looks like Connecticut Shade.
I'm gonna pull up the stats on. Actually, I'm not gonna pull up the stats on that.
Yeah, this one also. This is a Toro size. Looks like 6x50. Looks like Connecticut Shade. It's hard to smell anything in here. There's a lot of smoke in the air.
Ooh.
Yeah. When you guys, and don't do this with cigars in the humidor at the shop unless you buy them. You know, stick the foot of the cigar up your nose. But there's kind of sour and grassy, but also so like peppery and vanilla-y.
So you can see there's age marks where the bands used to be. So
there are. I didn't even notice that.
There's multiple clues here that this is a multiple banded cigar.
There's some clues. This has to be Connecticut Shade. It's if it's not, it's extremely light Ecuadorian Habano. Yeah, this has to be Connecticut Shade. All right, let's fire this next one up. All right. Actually, for you guys watching, leave a comment. Let us know if you've ever tried this. If you've ever tried smoking, swapping with your friends some unbanded cigars, and a couple surprises that you had along the way. You know, something you smoked that maybe you thought it was a brand that you hated, or maybe it was a cigar that you didn't think you liked, or just anything. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you have experienced before with that in the past. Good draw. Kind of. The cold draw. So the cold draw tastes young, like it's young tobacco. It's grassy. It's grassy, and I want to use the word ammonia, but it's not really ammonia. It's not like under fermented. I mean, slightly under fermented tobacco, but it's not like that ammonia smell, that chemical ammonia. It's just sort of a little sour. Oh, Braden says I haven't had a Habano wrapper cigar before. Any recommendations?
Oh,
I mean, that's honestly, it's a great question, but it's such a broad answer because that is such a popular wrapper leaf. There are so many cigars on the market with Habano.
you know what makes a really great Habano, and actually the whole series of different wrapper leaves by Camacho is a great way to introduce a lot of different leaves. So if you go to any humidor that carries Camacho, you can tell it looks like the crayon box section.
Yep.
Because they are very well colored and labeled, and they make a great Habano. They
Yep.
make a great Corojo. They make a great
Connecticut's good.
Connecticut.
The Criollo is good.
Criollo.
So the in Camacho, the one with the Habano wrapper is actually called the Ecuador. So it's Habano seed tobacco that's grown in Ecuador, and that is a very, very good cigar. Are you? I see now. I'm struggling. The curse of the.
We used to have another.
The curse of the bad. We do have another lighter here. The curse of the bad lighters. We literally just filled these before the show went live. Also, I will say, Braden, for a Habano cigar with a very that tastes really good, but also has a very good price point. I would there's two I'm going to recommend. One is the Espinosa Habano, especially in the Toro size. It's a good price point, and it's a full-on long filler premium cigar, and I highly recommend that one. Another one I'll recommend is the JSK Toothpick Habano.
Yes.
That another good price point cigar. It's a mixed filler cigar, so we've talked about that in previous shows. Mixed filler or Cuban sandwich is long filler. Obviously, the wrapper leaf is whole leaf, and the binder is as well. But then the filler tobaccos are made from smaller cutoffs from other production lines of cigars. And the JSK Toothpick Habano, I think is a very good low-priced entry into Habano cigars. My lighter
Speaking of
is
Habano,
bye-bye.
I'm just saying.
I have to pull up the stats on that one to remind myself.
Also, shout out to Braden. Thanks for watching, brother. Braden's my cousin, and young guy, young family, just getting into cigars over the last, couple of years. And so I love that, people that are, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And here's the other thing. I consider myself a snob, but only about the stuff I smoke and how I smoke it. I never judge other people about the stuff that they enjoy. I never look down on people for the cigars and the stuff that they enjoy. So the fun part about being a new cigar smoker is going out. It's like going out to, a grocery store and, trying new ingredients and trying new foods and putting things together. It's this journey of finding the flavors and things that you like to smoke. These are all blended, and there are so many different flavors and experiences to have in a cigar, and it's just a wonderful journey. And your palate will do this roller coaster thing over and over again. I'm finally now just getting out of a Connecticut kick and getting more back into some fuller flavor, stronger cigars. And after a couple, maybe months, it'll come back around. That's just the evolution of a palate typically.
Yeah. And I'll say that the also if you want to try some Habano wrap cigars, you get a little bit more of that spiciness from those. But if you try some and you're not really that into it, then dial back for a little while and go back to like Sumatra and Cameroon and Connecticut Shade. to get your palate ready to take the next step. Because if you try some Habano cigars and it's just too much for you, dial it back and give your palate more time to adjust and get ready for the, you know, the next steps like Habano and then San Andreas and broadleaf and things like that.
And no, too. So something that happened in the early 90s with cigars, and we've talked about it before on the show, that Connecticut shade wrappers didn't used to be the mild medium cigars that many of them are today, but they found that the American consumer of cigars equated a lighter cigar wrapper with a lighter cigar in flavor and strength. And so then they started making it to market that cigar that way. And that's what the industry did for many years. And it's now just over the last 5+ years that we're starting to see companies put out Connecticut cigars that are powerhouses, that have a lot of flavor, and Maduros that are smooth and sweet and mild.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't always equate, you know, dark with strong, light with light. So be sure you know what you're buying. If you want a light cigar, not always a light wrapper will equate to a light cigar.
Yeah. Yeah. The one, I think we've talked about this before, but one example of that for me was the Bellas Artes from AJ Fernandez. It looks very unassuming. The packaging is beautiful and elegant. The cigar has this sort of medium light colored wrapper. And we've talked about this a lot. I don't get woozy from cigars. And maybe I was just, maybe I didn't have enough to eat that day. Maybe who knows what the factors could have been, but that cigar gave me the spins, and it was the Toro size. That cigar, actually, I was at Stogie's on Grand smoking that cigar on a Friday Herf with MHC, and that cigar actually gave me the spins. And that's happened to me in my life maybe 4 times. And I remember looking at the cigar going, why do I feel this way right now? This cigar I should not be feeling this way.
Yeah.
But that means that those filler tobaccos, you're going to see a fair amount of Ligero, and, you know, maybe, who knows? I don't think I've revisited that cigar, probably because it scared the hell out of me. But maybe that cigar is not supposed to be that strong. Maybe just one came off the line with a little extra Ligero in it. I don't know.
It's strong. It's a beast.
But it got me.
But everything, you know, from the Bellas Artes to the what's the other one that came out either the year before or the year after the Bellas Artes? The
Maduro, the AJ cigar.
The AJ cigar.
After the Bellas Artes. It's hard to remember with AJ. There's so many AJ cigars.
When it's that again, it's that My Father. Which My Father was it?
Antigüedad.
Antigüedad.
Yeah, that was one of the earlier ones. That one. That's I think the La Antigüedad I think came out in 2012. I want to say somewhere in that neighborhood. But that's a very good cigar.
AJ did that one too, didn't he?
No, that's all My Father.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he did that.
Oh, and Javier's got a good suggestion.
He really does. That
Illusione. Yes. Very good suggestion. Actually, any Illusione cigar.
I have never had a bad Illusione cigar.
I don't know if I have either, honestly. And I'll be honest, I haven't smoked a ton of them. That's one of the rare brands okay, full disclosure, I've never bought a full box of Illusione cigars. I buy them by the singles, by the fiver here and there. I've never bought a full box of that particular brand before.
I like a while. The Rothschilds were just so cheap and such a great cigar, like the entire line. And then I've bought some of the 88s, Lanceros, and then
and the HL, the Holy Lanceros.
Oh my gosh,
the Holy Lance is just yeah, if you like Lanceros, if you find the Illusione HL, whether it's the Maduro or the original, just try it.
Yep.
You will really like it, and they're not too strong. They are not too strong.
The one-offs. So new line by Illusione, one-off. It's that one with the peace sign on it. They are priced a little high for, in my opinion, great cigars.
Yeah.
It is a great cigar.
Yeah.
I think you should try it. It's just, for me,
yeah, the price point is a little. It's
a little steep.
It's a cigar. I don't and they price them accordingly, according to the
they're not trying to gouge anybody.
They're higher grades of tobaccos.
It's expensive tobacco.
Yeah, so they're priced accordingly. But you just have to know what you're getting into, you know, with the price point. But just like the Atabey that Garrett gave me that I smoked was my first unbanded cigar here. It's I hear people a lot of times talking about, oh, this cigar shouldn't cost that much. But when you hear the stories from the people that make them about the extra steps that go into selecting the tobaccos for these cigars, a lot of these cigars that cost more money, the extra steps that go into selecting the tobaccos, that's why it costs more. Because first of all, the tobaccos are more rare and they're scarce. That on its own is going to make it more. And it costs more money because the yield from the bale of tobacco, when they open up the bale and they start sorting it, the yield of that bale that is good enough to go, especially for the wrapper leaf.
Yeah.
If it's good enough to be a wrapper leaf on an Atabey cigar or a Davidoff cigar, or name a dozen really high priced brands.
Because on this cigar, you will not see a vein.
Yeah,
they do an incredible job of.
And also they only use so not only do they do an incredible job of sorting the tobaccos and selecting only the highest quality leaves out of that bale, the rollers that they have assigned at the factory to make certain cigars are the highest skilled rollers. They've been doing it for years, decades in some cases, and they are the highest skilled hands in the factory.
And this is a craft product.
Yeah.
You know, like any craft product, the years of experience and craftsmanship that goes into making these products, you know, is reflected in the sale price. And again, you know, the price that we pay for these is still relatively low. Well, taxes aside, depending on where you're hailing from. But here in Minnesota, we're pretty blessed to have a decent tax situation.
Yes. So just to check in quickly on cigar number 2, I'm going to continue down the road of saying that this cigar, I won't say the cigar, I'll say the tobaccos in this cigar taste a little bit under fermented, a little under processed, like the tobacco leaves themselves didn't get enough time in the curing barn or in the fermenting pilones. It's not a bad cigar. It's, as you can see, it's burning very well. The smoke output's good. The draw is great. But the flavors and aromas are a little young, a little not harsh, but sort of sour-ish and young.
Yep.
Under fermented.
This cigar is oily. And you know you have an oily cigar when you get a little bit of a slick, especially on the roof of your mouth and on your tongue. And that means that it is a probably an expensive wrapper, because not all good wrappers are oily. And I'm going to go... so my first instinct was Habano. I'm going to stick with a Ecuadorian Habano. gosh, it's so, the sheen on this too. You can see the sheen, and that will indicate the oiliness as well.
Especially when you get closer to the burn line where it's warm.
Yep.
Because that starts to the warmth starts to expand those cells in the leaf that contain those oils and express them out to the outside surface of the leaf. Yeah, this one is yeah, I just keep saying it, but it's young. But it's not like that one you gave me one time that I tossed it because it was so bad.
I decided not to do that to you again.
That cognac or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Maker's Mark.
Maker's Mark. Yeah, that I was not shy to say what a horrible experience that was. I think I smoked it for about not even 2 minutes. Yeah. It was safe to say it was not even 2 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about one of the other things I had on the notes I wanted to talk about tonight is for Garrett, I'll ask you this first.
Mm-hmm.
We all, like you said, you'll go through phases where you're really on a kick for a certain thing. What are you on a kick of right now? Whether it's a brand or a particular cigar that you just are like, this is my everyday cigar right now. What are some of those kicks you're on right now?
So the brand I'm on a real kick right now is Adventura. I have just really been in love with the entire line. I bought some Adventura from our guy Ronnie, and they make a Lancero that is, I've always got a couple of these, and if you haven't had an Aventura,
mm-hmm.
really go out and check this out. This is the Conqueror by Adventura in the Lancero. He only puts this one out once a year, so I don't know where supplies are at, but this has been,
and the Robusto size in that is also really good.
Yes.
So, and I agree. That ever since we interviewed Henderson on the show, and he was very gracious to send us a few samples, we actually bought our samples from Ronnie, and then enjoyed them so much that we went and bought more. And that's a testament to cigars that you're going to enjoy. Honestly, any cigar on the market, if you smoke it and you say, I like that enough to buy more, that alone should be very meaningful to the people that make it, to the brand that owns it. If you drink a bourbon and you don't like it well enough to buy another bottle, that says something.
Mm-hmm.
If you smoke a cigar and you don't like it well enough to buy another one, that says something about it. So what you have to do is you just have to try as much stuff as you can get your hands on. And then you start to fall into those kicks that we were talking about, where, you say, I'm really into trying a lot of Connecticut shade wrappers right now. I'm really into, like Braden's into wanting to try a lot of Habano wraps right now. Right for me right now, it's a cigar that we reviewed actually early in the year. And I was excited when this was going to launch, when my father announced that they had bought the brand name of Fonseca for the U.S. market.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited. And because this was one of those brands that I always enjoyed, even enjoyed some of the Cuban Fonsecas. But I had a feeling that the My Father factory, they were going to do right by this brand name. And since the year began, which is, we're at the end of Q1, I have gone through 2 boxes of the Cosecos size of the My Father Fonseca, which is the smaller size, sort of a petite Corona. I think it's 5.5 by 43. And I cannot stop smoking those cigars. I just reach. There's so many times, and we've all been there, right? You open up your humidor, or you open up your travel humidor, and you've got a lot of cigars in there to choose from. We've all been there, where you go to pick a cigar for the night, and you're looking around, and you're just like, what should I smoke tonight? And over the last 3 months, there have been so many occasions over and over and over again where I open up that humidor and I'm looking around, and I'm like, yep, I got to grab another one of these Fonsecas.
Yep.
Because they're that good.
They are so good.
And that's been big for me lately. And I've also been on a big Connecticut shade kick really for the last year or so since the pandemic hit, because I think a lot of it goes to I'm smoking so many more cigars than I did before that I don't want to overwhelm my palate by smoking 5, 6, 7 really strong cigars a day. I'm leaning more towards a lot of, Connecticut shade, Sumatra, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some Cameroon blends that aren't ass kickers, Hemingways, Don Carlos, the Chateau Fuente Connecticut's, a lot of the My Father Fonsecas, which it's not a strong blend. It's a really flavorful blend.
Or again, going back to Illusione, the Epicure is another great Connecticut that I've been smoking lately. And to Eric, I wouldn't tell you not to smoke that Maker's Mark, but I will say be ready for
a very different experience.
Very different experience. Now, I will say that the other one that they make with King Louis, that one is actually good for desserty, novelty infused type situation. I did not care for the Maker's Mark version.
Yeah,
Matt liked it a lot.
I clearly did not care for it. And I haven't tried any like the King Louis, and I just don't gravitate towards whiskey flavored infused cigars, if you want to use the term infused. We've talked about this a lot. I'll smoke over the course of a year, I'll smoke maybe 2 acids and 3 or 4 Tabacco Special, or some other, or a nub macchiato or something like that. But it's just a rare thing for me. But the specifically and the infused, it's different when we're talking about the Maker's Mark infused Gurkha. That's
a totally different situation.
So then you talk about cigars that have some of the leaves in the cigar are aged in bourbon barrels, like the Diesel Whiskey Row or the Camacho, the one that's got it's got the 1050 barrel aged. I can't remember it right now.
So many cigars.
And there are other cigars that have even the Añejo, the Fuente Añejo, is aged in cognac barrels. But that's different, where they just take the leaves and they place them in a previously used whiskey barrel and let them sit there for a month, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe longer. That's different than sitting it in a room filled with like basically vaporized sugar and whiskey. It's different. The ones that have that infused whiskey flavor in them, it's like cherry flavored candy. It tastes fake. I know it's fake. I don't like it. And it just doesn't work for my palate. It overwhelms the palate. I can't taste the tobacco in the cigar.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if maybe this is an experiment of all of those uranium barrels that we don't know what to do with.
Oh,
there might be something there.
Make a nuclear nuclear fallout cigar.
Yes.
That would be a great project for Asylum.
Espinosa.
Oh, I was thinking Asylum.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
Asylum do.
Well, how about a collab?
There you go. There you go. Call us. Reach out.
We'll talk to our people at the DOD.
But yeah, you've got to just find a tobacconist that knows what they're talking about and that actually cares enough to share the information with you. There are great cigar shops out there, and there are some cigar shops that, you know, either they don't know or they can't be bothered to get up off the couch when you come into the shop and walk into the humidor to pick out some cigars. If they can't be bothered to get up off the couch and stop watching The View or whatever, then may not be a reliable tobacconist to get good information from. But hopefully over the course of the pandemic, a lot of these brick and mortar shops have realized, okay, we maybe need to step up our game a little bit, because I mean, how long were the shops in Minnesota closed for? 4 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were closed for at least, I think it was a month solid where they could not open at all.
No retail, no lounge.
Nothing. They were completely closed doors for a month at least. And then, bless you. And then all of a sudden, okay, you can do curbside deliveries or you can do home deliveries. Brick and mortars felt it. So I think, I'm hoping at least that those brick and mortar shops learned from this experience and maybe will choose to step up their game a little bit. And again, I'm not talking about all brick and mortars. If you run a good brick and mortar shop, thank you, and keep doing that. But if you maybe were losing the passion a little bit running your brick and mortar shop, I hope that the circumstances have brought you out of that funk and brought you back to a place where, you're going to bring up the level of customer service a bit. How's that? How about that cigar?
All right, I've got a guess.
Okay, that's pretty early in. You're not even to the halfway point. That's pretty good.
H. Upman. Espinola.
Hispaniola. Okay.
That's my guess right now.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you?
No.
Okay.
We'll wait. That's a great question.
Oh, Eric's got, yeah, that is a great question. What is your white whale cigar, as in your number one favorite stick that you can almost never find? So, Eric, I have to ask you to clarify. Do you mean a cigar that we have always wanted to try but never tried because it's so expensive or rare, or a cigar that we tried once and loved so much but now we just can't find it? Like it was a store exclusive that they only made 100 boxes of.
I'll give you both.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the one that I've never had that I would love to just try once for the experience is a 1961 gosh, it would probably have to be Monte Cristo.
Okay.
1961 Monte Cristo.
So an old Cuban.
An old Cuban.
Yeah.
Then my white whale currently would be the original release of the Anarchy.
Oh, yeah, the Tatuaje Smoke-In Microblend series. Yeah. I heard that, because I also never tried one of those, and I heard that it was one of the best cigars maybe that ever had a Tatuaje name on it.
Yep.
I have so many. As far as ones that I've never tried, so there's ones I've never tried that I actually could get my hands on. One in particular is the Davidoff Oro Blanco. but that's $500 per cigar. So I'm pretty sure.
Let's get a box.
I'm pretty sure I'm just going to hold off on that one. I'll just say I'm going to hold off on that one. I would say, as far as ones that you can't, that they haven't made for many years, the original Osak, the Room 101 Osak, the one shot, one kill.
That was an underrated cigar at the time.
And then right after they were sold out of them, they got this unicorn status, and everybody started buying them up. And they didn't make a lot in the first place. Yeah. And then they sold the brand to another company. They sold the name Osak to another company. But those original Room 101 Osaks, I always wanted to try one. Never have. But I heard it was phenomenal. Everybody I've talked to who has smoked one said it was one of the best cigars they've ever had. Phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
The original Tatuaje Frank Monster series, and the Frank is getting re-released. They're doing the Pete's doing the redux of so they're going to basically go back to the beginning, and each year now do a redux of the whole Monster line. So the Franks are going to be coming out as a redux, and then they're going to go back through the series again, which is great because and Pete's talked about it. It's true. It's not going to be the same cigar, but they're going to do the best they can to emulate what the original Frank was and try to put that on the market. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. And then the other monsters that I love, the JV13, the Jason.
That Jason was an ass kicker. It kicked my ass.
And I have one left of the original full-size Jasons. I have one stick left in my humidor. It's one of those cigars that I think, okay, I'll probably never smoke this, but I'm going to.
I wish I wouldn't have smoked it. So I traded a bunch of good stuff for a Jason last year at Ristafari, and I was an idiot and I smoked it that night. It was probably cigar number 5 on the day, which a cigar like that, you should do it on a clean palate, full stomach.
Yeah.
And I didn't do any of that. It was like, so after we had Carlito on Saturday, we smoked 2 opuses.
Yeah.
And then I had that Lancero that you gave me from.
Oh yeah, probably an old Nat Sherman Lancero.
Old Nat Sherman Lancero. Couldn't taste it. Shocking.
It was a Connecticut shade wrapped 8x38.
Went to go play poker with some guys, and I opened up my humidor, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll just keep going," and lit up a Siglo 2. What an idiot.
Couldn't taste it.
What an idiot. And then I realized, just a couple puffs in, but you got to finish it because it's a great cigar.
Yeah.
So after that, it was just like, I was like, okay, do I have any catalog things in here now?
Yeah. Well, it's just like when we review cigars.
Yeah.
When we review cigars, we want to come into it as the first cigar of the day. Yeah. And if we're going to review a second cigar that day, you want a long period of time to let your palate rebound and get back to sort of a clean palate.
And acidic things really help to cleanse that palate and get that palate clean. So coffees, citrus, citrusy things. And then, obviously brushing your teeth, doing all of that will help to cleanse your palate. But
yeah. So I'm trying to come up with a guess on this cigar, and I'm struggling. What's that?
You're not gonna get it.
Yeah, I don't think I will.
Never gonna get
it. It's a cigar that I don't think I would buy it again. It's not awful, but it just tasted like I've already said 100 times. They should have let these leaves ferment for just a little bit longer.
All right, and I will say that with this particular cigar, not every cigar is smoked the same.
Okay.
So you didn't get one of the better ones, unfortunately, and that's been about I want to say 25% of the box that I've noticed, which is unfortunate. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize.
I'm sticking with my H. Upman.
Okay.
Where am I at? How close am I?
You are far away.
Damn it.
You are far away.
Are we in the Dominican?
I believe so. As far as the factory goes, I believe so. Yeah, let me double check here. Yeah, factory Dominican Republic.
It tastes Dominican. So, is it a Habano?
Technically, yes. I believe so. Technically, yes.
All right. No, that's Nicaraguan.
It is a very well known and established cigar brand.
Shut up. Is this a is this a late hour?
No. That's another cigar that's got some
This has some age.
What is it? Scotch barrel. I think one of the leaves is aged in a Scotch barrel, I think. I don't remember the aging process for those, but there is something to do with that with the late hour. That's not a late hour. I will say you are on the right wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say with this one, I am, and again, I psych myself out, and the bourbon is playing a factor here. I'll throw up all the excuses I can. I promise. I am getting a few things here and there that give me a little bit of a Cuban feel, but I don't think it's a Cuban cigar. If it is, I don't know.
Here's the back of the band.
Oh, I know what that is. Yeah. And you already I've already smoked one of these.
Yeah.
And this does not taste like
the
one I smoked before.
See what I'm saying?
So they got some inconsistency.
They do.
Issues. So this is Makaleha, Hawaiian from Kauai Cigar Company.
And now the good ones are obviously very good. Matt will tell you he smoked one, loved it. It was great.
I can't get it to focus.
Super unique, and it is more on that sour palate. Even the better one is more soury, citrusy, but the good ones are sweet and smooth and have that. It doesn't taste like Matt was saying, unfinished.
I remember the other one that you gave me, the first one of these that you gave me, had a buttery kind of component to it.
That's right.
And this does not have that. It tastes like it needed more time. The tobaccos needed more time before they got rolled. But I'll revisit these and get some more just to just to see. But yeah, inconsistency. That's one of the other things. You guys know, we've talked about it 100 times. It's a handmade artisan product that's made with natural materials. So consistency is very difficult. That's why the companies who typically the companies who have really great consistency sell a lot of cigars because people keep going back to them because they always know what they're going to get.
Well, let's do the thing. Should we do the thing?
Should we do the thing before we do the reveal of yours?
Yeah, because I want another shot. I want to keep doing this.
Let's do it.
Okay.
It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to you by Smoke Inn Cigars. Take just a few seconds, guys, and watch this spot about Smoke Inn's Cigar of the Month program. All right, Numero de los Muertos, episode 104, brought to you by Smoke Inn Cigars. Garrett, what do you have for us?
So I have got a 20-year average in the U.S. 280 people fall victim to this.
20-year average in the United States, 280 people a year.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was really high.
280. That's a higher number than we've had recently.
Mm-hmm.
All right, as always, viewers, if you guys have guesses on YouTube or Facebook, leave those in the comments. Guess along with me.
And here, so I'm just gonna start us off. This is a guess I have never seen on our show.
Okay. That's gonna make it tougher. That's gonna be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's never been guessed. Okay, so United States only.
Mm-hmm.
Is it an illness?
Not medical.
Not medical.
We're gonna put this in the accident category.
Accident category. Does it happen in any kind of a vehicle? Yes.
Most of the time.
Are these land vehicles or air vehicles?
Land vehicles.
Land vehicles.
Falling through windows.
Well,
that's a great guess.
Yeah.
It is not.
All right. Vehicles, land vehicles, accidents, United States, 280 people a year. Are these two-wheeled or four-wheeled vehicles?
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. Killed by airbags.
Ooh, Eric. I might have to do that one.
That's not it.
That's not it.
Good guess, though.
That is a great guess.
Is the victim typically inside the vehicle or outside of the vehicle?
Inside
the vehicle. Hitting cattle, Eric says.
That's a good guess too.
Is it
not?
Is it hitting deer? Is it hitting an animal?
Mm-mm.
It's not. Okay. The victim is typically inside the vehicle. Does it have to do with the elements?
No.
So it's not about like
whether
your car breaks down and you freeze to death in your car.
Correct.
Driving off a cliff.
No Thelma Louise here.
No Thelma and Louise. Does it have anything to do with the exhaust fumes from the vehicle? No. Okay. Are the vehicles in motion when these deaths occur?
Not always.
Not always. Does it involve trains?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Is it people trying to cross a train track when the signal's down?
Or cars being stalled on train tracks.
Cars stalled on train tracks.
Or pedestrians trying to cross in front of a train.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, like the light rail in Minneapolis.
Mhm.
Oh, I've seen people barely walk past the tracks before.
Yeah. So I couldn't find the stat where it was just vehicles only that didn't include that pedestrian stat. Yeah, 280 people on average. Last year, for whatever reason, it was 14% higher than it's been in years past. But yeah, 280 people die either stalling out on tracks or trying to beat the train or running across the tracks.
Nice.
Trying to beat the train.
Nice.
And then there was a whole nother, like a bunch of, so in total, close to 1,600 people a year die from train accidents.
Wow.
Either train jumping, employees at train yards. There was all of these stats, but the one that I decided to pick was the
I know that happens a lot where people working at the rail yards, especially, they get pinched between two cars.
Yep.
Yeah, Eric says he saw, while working in downtown Minneapolis as security, I saw 3 people hit by a light rail. I'm not surprised. When I was still actually going to the office in Minneapolis, I saw so many people jumping the tracks when the trains were coming through. And I mean, all it takes, especially in Minneapolis with the ice and everything, it just takes your foot stepping in one wrong spot and you're done for. So that was a good one.
Thanks, man.
That was a good one. I like that one. And I especially like because I actually got the guess right.
That's 2 weeks in a row.
And that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. Numero de los Muertos, brought to you by Smoke In. So,
all right, let me take one more poke at this.
That's what she said. I mean,
oh, we're 13.
I am such a child.
So I'm gonna. Okay, so
you were on the right track.
Yep.
Think about look at the age.
Yeah, and I'm gonna last poke at this is going to be. I don't know a Fuente that has this particular Vitola, but now I'm thinking that it's Cameroon, which is technically a Habano because of the seed. Isn't it?
Jose would beg to differ.
Okay. Then maybe not.
So you mentioned a little bit ago the Davidoff late hour, which it is not.
Okay, so
but think about that family of brands.
Oh, is this an Avo?
It is.
Is it the Uvasian?
Nope. It's a limited edition, and it's old. So you're smoking the Avo Classic Covers 2015 Volume 2. So it is from the OK Cigars factory in Dominican Republic. It has a Ecuadorian 702 Moron wrapper, which I believe is a
Habano
variety of Habano.
Yep.
The binder is Mexican San Andreas, and filler leaves from Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. 6x54. Price back in 2015 when they came out was $16 per cigar.
Jeez. It reminds me of happiness.
That's a good thing, right?
It's delicious.
Yeah, I did smoke one of those because they had the volume 1 and the volume 2 for the classic covers series in 2015, and I smoked one of each, and I did like this one better.
Do you have the wrapper?
I do, yeah.
The wrapper.
The wrapper.
I
Craig
just did that.
Craig is gonna call us out for that.
Yep.
So there's the cellophane,
Cello.
and here's the main band, and here is the secondary band.
Yeah, I have never had this.
I think they only made 50,000 cigars, and so both of the cigars that you smoked on the show tonight, I found. So sometimes, guys, you gotta hit up your brick and mortar shops and look for the brick and mortar shops that maybe are smaller, because you can sometimes find cigars that have been on their shelf for years and years. And I found both this. So this is a 2015 box of Avos, and the My Father La Dueña that you smoked. Like I said, well, the good thing about everything that comes out of the My Father Cigar Factory is they actually stamp box dates on their on the bottoms of the boxes, and these were a 2013 box. So, and I found these both at a small little cigar shop. It's a what do you call them? Where you can buy hookah and all the other stuff.
A head shop.
A head shop. So with a humidor, and all of a sudden I find so I will be going back to the shop, and no, I'm not telling you.
Honey hole.
I'm not telling you where the shop is, because they have a lot of good old cigars on the shelf that they sell mostly hookah and cigarettes and loose cigarette tobacco and that kind of thing.
Have you ever done hookah? Oh
no, I don't know if I would like it, because it's there's a lot of flavors going on, right? It's like fruits and herbs and stuff like that.
It can be, yeah.
I don't know if I would like. I'll try it, I guess. Is it an inhaled product? Because if it is, I'm kind of not into it.
Some people do.
Okay.
Some people don't. I don't. And I mean, it's been.
I mean, I would retrohale it just to get the experience and try it. But I would imagine it's kind of like pipe tobacco, where there are thousands of different flavor combinations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can even combine them still. And the key to really good hookah, from my limited experience, is having good coal and the good flavors, because like anything else, pipe tobacco or anything else flavored, you can tell the cheap from the good stuff.
Okay.
And there is good stuff, and it's I
might try it someday. I mean, again, we're going to the TPE trade show in May. I don't really know much about it. There may be an opportunity there for me to try hookah for the first time. I don't know. I might try it. I might not. We'll see. So let's talk about, normally we do the lightning round with a guest, but Garrett and I pretty much know each other. So we're going to skip the lightning round, and we're going to go right into this week's notable smokable. And as always, guys, notable smokables on How About That Cigar Live is brought to us by our friends at Ace Prime Cigars. Ace Prime, notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So as Garrett is looking up his notable smokable for the week, my notable smokable was purchased from our good friend Omar at Ramsey Smoke Shop. And the Blackwork Studio Hyena was a limited release from Blackwork Studio and Oveja Negra brands. And I like to always hit up Omar for some of the Black Label stuff when it comes out, because he's the only shop in the area that carries it. So I know I'll pretty much always be able to get at least a $5. And I have been a fan in the past of a lot of the stuff from Oveja Negra, and this one was no exception. It's a very good cigar. I got the Lancero size. I was hoping for the Corona, but he was all out of those, so I got some of the Lancero size, and I enjoyed it very much. Very, very, very flavorful. Just tons going on in that cigar from a flavor perspective, and it burned great. Like they pretty much always do. So that's my notable smokable this week.
And my notable smokable was brought to us by Byron, the 4-year Reserva, and it was a chocolate bar of deliciousness. It was just really good. It was just dark flavors yet smooth and scrumptious.
Yeah, and that's another one of those examples of a higher price cigar, but when you really learn about the materials that go into that cigar and the hands that make it,
the process and everything.
Yeah, it's more goes into it, so that's why those cost a little bit more.
It's like going to buy Wagyu. Yeah, you can get a great ribeye at your local butcher or even grocery store.
Yep.
But every once in a while, going and spending.
That's right.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. And or if you're into wine, you can get a good bottle of wine from
Alabama
for $8 from Alabama. Alabama wine is some of the finest. But no, you can get a really quality bottle of wine for $8.
Yep.
But every once in a while, you really put in your research. You go and you find a bottle that you've actually researched and looked for. You find it, and maybe it's $30, $40, $50. Maybe it's more. You can, if you pay attention, you can taste the difference. And the same is true with premium cigars. So that is this week's notable smokable, brought to you by Ace Prime. Improving lives through fine cigars. Visit aceprime.com to learn more. So, pardon me, to give you guys an idea of stuff we have coming up in the next week or so, or even beyond that. So a week from tonight, on April 5th, we are going to talk to Chris Monaco and Jeffrey Amendola of the Amendola Family Cigar Company. And then jumping forward, we are working on the weeks in between there, but jumping all the way ahead to April 26th. So Saturday, this past Saturday, we, as you guys know, we had Carlito Fuente, the legend himself, on our show. And we are also very fortunate that on April 26th, we're going to talk to the Queen of Cigars,
First Lady of Cigars,
the First Lady of Cigars, Cynthia Fuente, live on How About That Cigar on Monday night, April 26th. So, and much more to come, obviously, other shows coming in between there. So, but just always mark your calendars and go and click the set reminder so you always know when we go live on Facebook, and do the same thing on the YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell so you will never miss when we go live. And that way you guys, because we want you guys to participate in the conversation.
Yep.
Leave comments and questions and things like that along the way, just like we did tonight. So as always, you guys follow us on social media at HBT Cigar. That's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. And also, as always, if you guys have questions for Garrett or myself, you can find us on howaboutthatcigar.com. Send us an email directly from there. Check out the reviews and the articles that we have on there. Garrett just posted a great article today of something brand new that we're doing on How About That Cigar, which is we're going to find companies out there in the cigar world that maybe you don't know a lot about. And we're going to give you information about those companies and the people behind them and the people who put in the work and the effort and the passion to make those companies. So check that out on the website. That's a new feature. And as always, guys, we thank you so much for watching and listening. We're grateful to you for being part of How About That Cigar. And until we see you guys next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.